Welcome back to the channel. Today we're discussing WrestleMania 2, the only event from three separate locations in New York for the first part of the show at the Nassau Coliseum, the second part at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, and Los Angeles. Your commentary team is Vince McMahon and Susan St. James for some reason. For WrestleMania in New York, the New York portion starts with a rendition of America the Beautiful by Ray Charles. And your opening contest is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff versus Magnificent Morocco with Fuji in his corner. But Fuji doesn't really play a part in this whole thing, which makes no sense. It starts with a collar and elbow tie up. Wonderful gets a headlock, and Morocco throws him off. Gets a back body drop into a scoop slam with a kick up by Orndorff with a slam of his own. And then Morocco backs him in the corner, gets a couple of knees up, and tries to, and then Mr. Wonderful is used his quickness to evade Magnificent Morocco, gets him in a drop down toe hold. He works the arm with a couple of arm wringers and an arm drag. Morocco tried to do the Tito Santana move and walk up the ropes like he did against the Executioner. However, it had turned into a double arm drag as Mr. Wonderful held on. And then Morocco used his power to Samoan drop Mr. Wonderful. And they get back to the corner. Morocco bashes his head against the buckle, and they exchange punches and chops in the corner. And Mr. Wonderful takes over. He gets a little overzealous. They both go over the top rope. They ignore the 10 count, double count out. And that's how your first match at the Nassau Coliseum ends. Your next match is for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. It's George the Animal Steele versus Macho Man Randy Savage, who's your current Intercontinental Champion. And so George is already in the ring. Macho comes out with Liz to pop in circumstances. George chases him around the ring 3 times before he catches him and takes a bite out of his cap with his boot on. Weird spot. Macho takes over, tries to Irish whip the animal, and he bites his arm. George is at the upper hand, gets distracted by Elizabeth from behind. Macho Man gets him and ties him up in the ropes and kicks him several times, puts him in a chokehold. But that doesn't last long as George gets up, knocks Macho Man around, throws him outside. Macho Man goes under the ring. George, of course, is again distracted by Elizabeth, gets hit from behind again, but then throws Macho through the middle rope. Macho then gets frustrated, grabs some flowers, hits George with them a couple times, and then George gets the upper hand. Not only does he hit Macho with the flowers, but stuffs him in his face, eats a turnbuckle because he gets distracted. Basically, the whole point of this story is George can't stay focused and starts feeding the turnbuckle to the Macho Man. However, the Macho Man does get the advantage, is able to pick up and scoop slam George the Animal Steele. Macho Man goes up for his patented elbow drop off the top rope, connects 1, 2. George throws him off. George gets the upper hand, throws him in the corner upside down. Ref pulls him out, gets distracted. George comes in, gets double legged by Macho Man. 1, 2, 3. Macho's feet were on the ropes, but he retains his Intercontinental Championship by pinfall over George the Animal Steele. Your third match of the evening is Jake the Snake Roberts versus George Wells, former Canadian Football League player. George Wells jumps on him before the bell. He scoop slams him. He throws punches and knees, and there's an up down leapfrog shoulder tackle spot. Probably the highlight George Wells' career. Jake kicks him once, throws him to the outside, slithers outside after him, but George Wells knocks him down, gets back in the ring, continues with chops and high knees of his own to the point where he gets him in a power slam for Jake the Snake. 1, 2, no good. And there's even a spot where he knocks Jake down again, his feet stuck on the ropes. Jake hits about three more moves, goes outside, beats George back into the ring, hits him with a high knee lift, right to the eyes. Then it's his DDT 1, 2, 3, it's over for 90% of the match. Jake hits three moves, wins. Your winner is Jake the Snake Roberts. All right, we've reached the main event portion of the New York segment of the show. It is a scheduled 10-round boxing match between Mr. T and Roddy Piper. I'm not a big fan of boxing matches in wrestling, but this one was pretty entertaining. T did the peekaboo to Piper, tiring him out in the first round, and T was looking in control for the first 3 minutes. Then Piper walked over between rounds, and they made him go sit back down. And then Piper caught T in the corner and basically pummeled him for the majority of the 3 minutes in the second round. And in fact, knocked Mr. T got back up, and Piper controlled round two. Round three was T's best round. He basically peekabooed Piper again and kept wailing on him in the corner, knocked him down twice. As a matter of fact, the second time knocked him out of the ring, and Piper had to hold on for the last 30 seconds. We go into round four. Piper's corner threw his chair that he was sitting on over at Mr. T. It missed him, but that's not the point. And then in the fourth round, they just decide they're going to stand there and not protect themselves and throw haymakers. The ref gets knocked down. Piper goes for a scoop slam, which is illegal. And there's a melee. Mr. T wins by disqualification. Now we get ready for the Chicago portion of WrestleMania 2 from the Rosemont Horizon. And the first match for the Chicago portion of the event is for the WWE Women's Championship. Fabulous Moolah, the champion, versus Velvet McIntyre. Moolah does the old Pearl Harbor job attack from behind with Snap Merzel pulling her hair on a clothesline, and then Velvet McIntyre, it's the old one-footed drop kick, which looks really weird. It looks like a botch or a mistake for those of you who aren't in tune. Match continues. She knocks Moolah down, goes to the second rope, tries the splash. Moolah moves and gets the 1, 2, 3. Strangest women's title match I've ever seen. But anyway, we move on to the next match at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. Corporal Crusher versus Nikolai Volkoff. Of course, Nikolai has Classy Freddy Glassy with him. Classy Freddy Blassie, rather. They do the Russian anthem. Corporal interrupts. Spinning back kick from Nikolai Volkoff. I forgot about that, with a high knee. And then he throws him outside, rams him against the post twice. Continues the beatdown in the ring. They have one exchange, then they announce that Corporal is bleeding from his forehead. Back and forth. Then Freddy throws his cane in because I think he believed that Nikolai was in trouble. Corporal catches it, nails Volkoff because the ref went down, and hits the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Corporal Crusher. Now time for the Chicago main event at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. It's a 20-man battle royal featuring NFL football players and professional wrestlers. The notable names include Francis Fralick, Refrigerator Perry. And then there's 20 wrestlers such as the Hart Foundation, the Sheik, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, the Killer Bees, and many more. It starts with everybody trying to get rid of the fridge. That doesn't work because they're in Chicago. And the football players start going out. Brunzell and another wrestler knocked themselves out. Morales, who interestingly enough was the first Triple Crown champion before they started calling it the Triple Crown, the first one to hold all three titles, got thrown over the top rope, battling with somebody dangerous Dan Spivey or a Golden Boy at this time, threw them both out of the ring. Then Hillbilly Jim, trying to make an impact, goes over the top rope. So as the herd starts to thin, we get down to about the final six. And Refrigerator Perry tackles Big John Studd into the corner, and two foolish things happen. Refrigerator Perry tries to tackle him near the ropes, gets back body dropped over the top rope, he's out. And he tells Big John Studd he wants a handshake so they can be friends, and he pulls Big John Studd out of there. Just like that, we're down to four. It's Francis, the Hart Foundation, and Andre the Giant. Francis goes out, but not before. Andre the Giant gets tied up in the ropes, one of Andre's favorite spots, I'm sure. And the Hart Foundation eliminate Francis, the last football player. And then Andre, one of the funniest spots, grabs Jim the Animal Leonard by his goatee, punches him, throws him over the top rope. While Bret Hart is on the top rope, Andre the Giant clubs him and wins another Battle Royal, the precursor to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And now we are off to Los Angeles for the third and final portion of WrestleMania 2. Your first match for the Los Angeles portion is a WWE Tag Team title match. And if you're still with me, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. But it's the British Bulldogs accompanied by Captain Lou Albano and Ozzy Osbourne as they take on Greg the Hammer Valentine and Brutus the Barber Beefcake with luscious Johnny Valiant. This is a weird match because usually it's the heels, Cake and Valentine, that take control. But the Bulldogs were in control for most of this match with suplexes, chops, hip tosses, body slams. Anytime that the Hammer and Brutus got control, it was because they didn't see a tag and got hammered up. Valentine was in control. He tried to leap up to do damage to one of the Bulldogs and he got kneed in funny. And Brutus came and got control after the Hammer did a couple moves like the pile driver. And it's funny because they tagged him right back in. Did the Brutus Beefcake, and he hit the elbow on the arm, which is a classic tag team maneuver. And then he was celebrating because he had one of them by the head. And then all he did was push him into Brutus Beefcake. Hammer falls down, and after all the near falls in this match, the referee counts 1, 2, 3. The simple bumping of the heads beats Valentine and Beefcake. We have new WWE Tag Team Champions. It's the British Bulldogs from Los Angeles, WrestleMania 2. The next contest is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Hercules Hernandez. Hercules Hernandez gets out to the early jump with clubbing forearms, and Steamboat is staggering. They do the old drop underneath, recover spot with a chop for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And when things are going well for Ricky, he's using his speed for arm drag takeovers. And he even got a suplex in at a time for Hercules Hernandez. Gets the cover one. No, Hercules takes over again to show Ricky could be in peril. Ricky takes over with arm drags, but Hernandez would club him with his other arm, which looked funny, and clothesline him. Ricky got two chops in, went for a third. Hernandez ducked and delivered another clothesline. Ricky was in trouble. He was scooped up, slammed down, elbow drop, covered twice, 2 counts, picked up, slammed down, picked up again, slammed down. He was kneed to the face a bunch of times, and it was really not looking good. In a scoop slam from Hernandez, who decided to go to the top rope. Ricky gets the knees up long enough for him to stagger to the top rope himself, hit the crossbody. 1, 2, 3. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is your winner. He's 2-0 at WrestleMania. We're moving on to the next match at WrestleMania 2. It's Uncle Elmer versus the adorable Adrian Adonis. Uncle Elmer beats him pillar to post for as long as he wants. And there was a moment where Adrian Adonis went upside down, got stuck in the ropes like the old Andre spot, and Elmer hit him about 3 or 4 times and knocked him out of the ring. Adrian Adonis got Elmer to his knees once with kicks and punches. Elmer got right back up and clubbed him again and was basically in control of this whole match. Knocked Adrian Adonis flat on his back, went for a leg drop, missed it. Adrian Adonis then gets up, goes to knocks. Elmer goes up to the top rope, hits a headbutt. 1, 2, 3, doesn't even have to hook the leg. How I Mercedes wrestling. Trouble so more people see this. And I'll catch you on the next match at WrestleMania 2. And the next match of the evening happened to be a pretty good one. It was JYD, Junkyard Dog, and Tito Santana versus the Funks, Terry Funk, and Klaus Funk, who I believe was just Dory Funk Jr. But anyways, Dory calling elbow tie up with JYD, couple knees to the gut, and then JYD fires with punches and chops and body slams for Hoss Funk, body slam for Terry Funk, body slam for Hoss Funk. Tito comes in, throws a forearm, clears the ring. Tito and JYD get back in the ring. Same thing happens. JYD takes control with punches and kicks. Tito Santana still outside. JYD handles business. Quick tags in and out. And then what the Funks do get control, but it's Hoss Funk with a clubbing blows as they get to work on Tito Santana, as he is not the powerhouse of the group. Tito actually does a great job staying with it through suplexes, European uppercuts, clotheslines. They did a number on Tito. And there's a spot in there where they're doing the crisscross thing, and Terry Funk gets himself caught up in the ring, and then he gets clotheslined by Tito over the top rope. Tito is in trouble, kicking out of near fall after near fall. 1, 2, no. 1, 2, no. He gets the tag to JYD. JYD fires up, comes in, throwing lefts and rights and clotheslines again. Gets taken care of the Haas brothers, who did a number on Tito. JYD gets distracted by Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart walloped by JYD. The match continues. 1, 2, kick up. Saved by Haas Funk. Tito hits a flying forearm, puts a figure four on Haas Funk. They roll out of the ring. It's JYD and Terry. JYD's back turned to Terry Funk, who gets thrown the microphone by Jimmy Hart, or the megaphone, rather. Gets thrown the megaphone. Tito's trying to get Tito out of the ring. They hit JYD with the megaphone. 1, 2, 3, Terry Funk pins JYD. Hoss and Terry Funk defeat Tito Santana and JYD. And we're going to wait for your next match here at WrestleMania 2. It is now time for the main event of the evening from Los Angeles, WrestleMania 2. Hulk Hogan defends the WWE Championship against King Kong Bundy. Steel cage, and it's the old big blue steel cage, the one I grew up watching. So Hogan starts out like a WWE champion, almost never does. Bundy took over, and Hogan had to lunge at him twice to keep him from going out of the cage. The first one was funny because he used Bundy's singlet, I believe, to prevent him from going out. And then when Bundy got the advantage again, he, or not when Bundy got the advantage, sorry, when Hogan got the advantage, he would throw Bundy into the cage to even things out physically because of the broken ribs Hogan was suffering from. He fired fists at Bundy's head, it being no DQ. And then he tried to choke Bundy out. And Bundy's bleeding at this point. And Hogan, again, gets taken down, thrown into the ropes. He suffers not one, but two avalanches. And you would think that second avalanche would finish Hogan. But no, he just pops up like Superman, gets a kick to the stomach, still just stands there. And it wasn't even like we got the traditional Hogan Hulk up where he shook his head, waved a finger and everything. But anyway, he ends up power slamming Bundy with the leg drop. And he climbs up over the cage, and Bobby Heenan's trying to stop him on the other side, on the outside. He kicks Bundy down, goes over the cage. Bundy's headed to the door. He's headed to the floor. Hogan wins, and he's still your WWE champion. That's your WrestleMania 2 review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, may your ego come from a place that keeps you humble. I'm Mo Money. Mamba out.